Let me tell you something that will make most people uncomfortable, the truth about money, not the sugar-coated version they spoon-feed you in school, not the comforting fairy tale your parents told you about working hard and everything falling into place. I'm talking about the raw, unfiltered reality. Money is a game, a brutal, high-stakes, no-mercy game. You're either playing to win or you're being played. That's it. There's no middle ground. You can either be a master of money or you can be its servant. The world doesn't care about your dreams, your hopes, or how good of a person you are. The only language the world understands is power, and money is power in its purest form. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop living like a pawn and start acting like a king. Most people are asleep. They're walking through life like zombies, completely unaware that they've been programmed since birth to be obedient, to follow instructions, to sit in a classroom and listen, then graduate and sit in an office and obey. They think they're free, but they've been conditioned to be slaves to a paycheck, to trade time for money like it's the only way to survive. But let me ask you something. If time is your most valuable asset, why would you sell it so cheaply? Why would you give up control of your own hours, your own freedom, just to collect a check that barely covers your bills? That's not living. That's survival, and survival is not the goal. The goal is dominance. The goal is independence. The goal is to control your own life, and that starts with understanding the first rule of money. Money moves fast, and if you move slow, you lose. Speed matters. Momentum matters. While you're sitting around waiting for the perfect moment, someone else already made the move. They already built the site. They already launched the product. They already took the risk, and they're already collecting the reward. That's how this game works. You hesitate, you miss. You overthink, you lose. You wait for permission, and someone hungrier takes what should have been yours. The winners in this world are not the most talented or the most educated. They're the fastest. They're the most decisive. They see a gap and they fill it. They see a crack in the wall and they break through it. They don't sit around asking what if. They say, why not me? And they make it happen. You've been lied to. You've been told that working hard is the key to wealth. That's only half the truth. Hard work without strategy is just glorified struggle. The world is full of broke people who work hard. Go to any construction site, any kitchen, any warehouse, you'll find people sweating, lifting, grinding day in and day out. Are they rich? No, because effort alone doesn't guarantee wealth. Direction does. Intelligence does. Timing does. You have to move fast in the right direction. You have to be aggressive with your time and ruthless with your focus. You need to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. Money doesn't respect your feelings. It doesn't care that you're tired. It doesn't care that you've had a bad day or that you're trying your best. Money responds to action. Relentless, unapologetic action. The kind of action that most people aren't willing to take. The kind of action that requires waking up early when everyone else is sleeping, reading while others scroll, building while others watch, taking risks while others cling to comfort. If you're not willing to live different, think different, and act different, you'll never have different results. You'll just blend into the crowd. You'll become another nameless cog in the machine, working just hard enough to survive, but never hard enough to escape. There's no success without speed. There's no reward without risk. Everyone wants the prize, but nobody wants the pressure. Everyone wants the lifestyle, but they're scared to make the moves that come with it. They want millions, but they act like peasants. They dream like kings but move like slaves, and that's why they lose, because the world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you demand, and demands are made through action. Through speed, through sacrifice, you have to be faster than doubt, faster than fear, faster than the lazy voice in your head telling you to take it easy. You have to outwork that voice every single day. People waste time like they've got an endless supply of it. They waste hours on nonsense, waste days chasing distractions, waste years working jobs they hate because they're too scared to do something bold. Let me make this crystal clear. The clock is ticking. Every second you're not building, someone else is. Every minute you waste, someone else is using it to get ahead. Every moment you hesitate, someone else is taking action. That's the harsh truth. And when it finally hits you, when you realize how much time you've lost being comfortable, being passive, being slow, it will hurt. But that pain is necessary. That pain is fuel. That pain should wake you up. You don't get wealthy by being average. You don't break out of the system by thinking like everyone else. You get wealthy by being obsessed with winning, obsessed with learning, obsessed with moving faster than your competition. You need to become a machine, efficient, cold, focused. You need to treat your time like it's sacred, because it is. Once it's gone, it never comes back. And unlike money, time can't be earned again. That's why it's priceless. And that's why the people who win are the ones who move with urgency, with purpose, with fire. Look at the world around you. Everything is speeding up. Technology is faster, business is faster, communication is faster. If you're not moving fast, you're moving backward. If you're not adapting, you're becoming irrelevant. You need to be 3 steps ahead always. The market doesn't wait for you to get ready. It rewards the ones who show up ready, even if they're not perfect. Perfection is an illusion. Done is better than perfect. Action beats planning. Movement beats motivation. You can sit around thinking for months, or you can get to work today and learn on the way. Because while you're planning, others are profiting. The truth is, you're not broke because of bad luck. You're broke because you're slow. You're slow to act, slow to learn, slow to change. You've been waiting for something outside of yourself to give you permission to win. But the only permission you need is your own. The only obstacle in your way is the mindset you refuse to challenge. The excuses you cling to, the fear you pretend is caution, the comfort you confuse for peace. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be broke. You were born to build, to conquer, to thrive. But you've got to start moving fast. Think about the people you admire, the ones who live the life you dream about. They didn't get there by accident. They got there because they moved. They made choices. Bold ones, they bet on themselves. They took risks when others stayed safe. And that's why they live free. That's why they don't answer to anyone. That's why they have options. Because they understood the game and they chose to play it on their own terms. And you can too. But only if you decide right now that slow is the enemy. That waiting is a trap. That playing it safe is the fastest way to lose. This world is brutal. It doesn't hand out rewards for intentions. It hands them out for execution. You either execute or you get executed. There's no prize for potential. Only results matter. You have to become allergic to wasting time. You have to move like your future depends on it, because it does. You have to build habits, systems, routines that force you to move faster, think clearer, act sharper. You have to train yourself to become dangerous, economically dangerous, so that no matter what happens in the world, no matter what crashes, no matter who gets laid off, you're untouchable. You're in control because you understand the game and you play it better than anyone else. If you want to win, stop moving like a victim. Stop thinking like a worker. Stop waiting for a miracle and start moving like a machine. Like a predator, like someone who's hungry for freedom, because in this world, money moves fast. And if you don't learn to move faster, you'll spend your whole life chasing it and never catching it. The rules are simple. Speed wins. Hesitation loses, so stop waiting, start moving. Now, money doesn't care how you feel. That might sound harsh, but it's the truth you need to understand if you ever want to break out of the average paycheck to paycheck cycle. Money doesn't care that you woke up tired today. It doesn't care that you were raised poor. It doesn't care that your friends doubted you or your parents never taught you how to manage it. It responds to one thing: action. Consistent, intelligent, aggressive action. People spend years trying to manifest wealth with wishes, dreams, and positivity. Let me tell you something real. The universe doesn't hand out success for good intentions. The universe respects effort. It respects energy. It respects people who refuse to be victims and who take full control over their own outcomes. You want to make serious money? Then stop thinking like the majority. The majority are broke. The majority are followers. The majority complain about the economy, their boss, the government, their upbringing, but never once look in the mirror. They've been taught to wait for someone to fix their problems. They live in a mindset of dependence, waiting for external solutions to internal weakness. They want to blame everything except the real source of their stagnation, themselves. Money flows to people who solve problems. That's the law, not people who whine, not people who scroll for hours a day consuming nonsense. You want money to chase you, then become valuable, become someone who creates solutions, someone who provides results. Someone who is so good at what they do that the world has no choice but to pay attention and to pay up. Here's what most people don't get. Money doesn't go to the best person, it goes to the person who markets themselves the best. You could be a genius, but if nobody knows who you are, you're broke. You could have talent, but if you're invisible, you lose. We live in a world of attention, a loud world, a digital world, and in this world, money follows influence. Money follows reputation. Money follows momentum. You need to be seen. You need to be heard. You need to build a presence that makes people believe in you before they've even spoken to you. Your social proof, your brand, your network. These are the currencies that open doors. People buy from people they trust, and people trust people who are confident, who are visible, and who look like they know exactly what they're doing. You need to understand the game is not just about effort. It's about leverage. Leverage is everything. Rich people don't work harder than you. They work smarter. They use systems. They use people. They use capital. They multiply their efforts through automation, delegation, and networking. While you're doing one task manually, they've got 10 tasks running automatically. While you're exchanging time for dollars, they're creating assets that work for them while they sleep. They're buying time with money while you're selling time for money. That's the flip you need to make. That's the mindset you need to embrace. Time is your enemy when you're broke, because you don't own any of it. You sell it all to survive. But the moment you understand that real wealth comes from buying back your time, your entire focus shifts from earning to building, from grinding to scaling. People who chase money rarely catch it. But people who build systems, brands, and value, money can't help but follow them. Look at every millionaire and billionaire. They didn't get there by filling out job applications. They got there by building something the world wanted, needed, or respected. That could be a product, a service, a platform, a skill. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it solves problems, makes life easier, or makes people feel something. That's it. That's the formula. Solve problems, repeat, scale. Too many people are looking for secret strategies or magic shortcuts. There are none. The world doesn't reward noise, it rewards clarity. If your value is clear, your money will be too. You want to make real money, develop dangerous skills, skills that command respect. Skills that can't be ignored. I'm not talking about average, replaceable, dime-a-dozen abilities. I'm talking about high-income, high-impact skills. Things like sales, copywriting, marketing, negotiation, investing, branding, coding, leadership. Skills that make money move. You want to stand out in a world drowning in mediocrity, then become excellent at something rare. Master it, obsess over it, make yourself impossible to ignore. Because once you become elite, money is no longer a chase. It's a magnet. It finds you. It flows to you, not because you're lucky, but because you made yourself valuable in a way that can't be denied. But let's be honest, most people aren't willing to do what it takes. They're not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to be uncomfortable. They say they want to be rich, but they act like they're allergic to discipline. They want to party. They want to sleep in. They want to take breaks. That's fine, but don't expect money to show up in your life if you treat success like a part-time job. Money requires obsession, precision, ruthlessness. It demands your focus. It doesn't reward the lazy. It doesn't care about your excuses. You either put in the work or you stay exactly where you are. And if you're not brutally honest with yourself about your habits, your focus, and your direction, you'll never escape the cycle you claim to hate. Stop asking for handouts. Stop looking for someone to save you. Save yourself. Teach yourself. Learn the game. Learn how money moves, how markets work, how people think, how decisions are made. Educate yourself not with degrees, but with application. With risk, with experience. Real knowledge is earned, not bought. Real growth comes from doing, from failing, from getting punched in the face and standing back up. Every dollar you earn should be the result of sweat, creativity, and strategy. Not hope. Not luck. If you're relying on luck, you've already lost. Luck is what average people use to explain other people's success. Winners know it was never luck. It was leverage. It was positioning. It was calculated movement at the right time. And here's another truth. Money isn't just numbers in a bank. It's energy, it's momentum. When you start earning more, everything about you changes. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you think. You gain confidence, you gain clarity, you gain control. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop entertaining nonsense. You stop living small, and it's not because of the money itself. It's because of what the process made you. The work you had to put in, the discipline you had to develop, the limits you had to break. Money is a mirror. It reflects your level of discipline, intelligence, and action. That's why broke people stay broke. They refuse to evolve. They want wealth, but they want to stay the same. That's not how this works. You don't get money first and change later. You change first, and then the money comes as a result. Stop playing defense. Stop thinking in terms of survival. Start playing offense. Start thinking like a producer, a builder, a leader. Build systems that create income without you being there. Build assets that grow in value while you sleep. Build relationships with people who challenge you, elevate you, and connect you to opportunities. Your environment matters. If you're surrounded by people who think small, who settle, who laugh at ambition, you're poisoned. Get out. Change your circle. Your future depends on it. Because money doesn't come to the guy who fits in. It comes to the one who stands out, the one who separates, the one who dares to be more when everyone else is content being less. Money follows courage, not fear, not doubt, not comfort. If you're scared to invest, scared to take risks, scared to fail, stay broke. Because wealth is built by people who are willing to step into the unknown. People who understand that failure is just tuition. It's part of the process. Every setback is feedback. Every loss is a lesson. But cowards never learn. They just complain. Winners adapt. Winners evolve. Winners stay in the game long enough to master it. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck. Just relentless persistence, consistent execution, and refusal to quit. The people you admire, the ones living in mansions, flying private, building empires, they're not better than you. They're not chosen. They're not special. They just played the game better. They moved faster. They made decisions when you hesitated. They doubled down when you backed out. They studied when you partied. They built when you slept. And now they're winning while you're watching. That's the cost of greatness. Sacrifice. Not everyone's built for it. But if you are, if you're sick of mediocrity, if you're done waiting, if you're ready to dominate, then change the way you move. Talk less, build more, think bigger, move quicker. And make money respect you by becoming someone it can't ignore. Most people misunderstand the very nature of money. They treat it like it's a reward or a blessing, something you randomly stumble across if you're lucky enough or if someone decides to give it to you. That's why they stay broke. That's why they never rise, because they wait. They wait for opportunity, wait for promotions, wait for the world to see their worth. Money doesn't work like that. Money has to be dragged into your life through power, action, and strategy. You have to become a magnet, not a beggar. You have to command it, not hope for it. And the only way to do that is to build a mindset so sharp, so cold, so calculated, that money has no choice but to respond. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You've been lied to your entire life. The system doesn't want you rich. It never did. It wants you obedient. It wants you scared. It wants you busy enough to never question the rules. The school system didn't teach you how to make money, did it? It taught you how to follow instructions, how to memorize, how to obey, how to be another cog in the machine. That's why people grow up and enter the workforce already defeated. They're trained to clock in, clock out, and beg for weekends. Trained to believe that working 40 years for a mediocre pension is a good life. It's not a good life. It's a slow death. And the worst part? They don't even know they're in prison. You want to be rich. Then escape the mental cage first. Escape the idea that you need permission to rise, that you need approval to succeed. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you a blueprint, and even if they did, you wouldn't use it, because you haven't killed the version of yourself that's addicted to comfort. That version of you, the lazy one, the hesitant one, the fearful one, it needs to die. You can't carry him into success. He's the anchor holding you back. Burn him, let him go. Replace him with someone who takes massive, unapologetic action. Replace him with a winner, because that's the only way out. A new mindset, a ruthless one that doesn't wait, one that doesn't hesitate, one that moves before others even start thinking. If you're still trying to save your way to wealth, you're already finished. Saving is survival. Saving is a defensive move. The rich don't save, they invest. They build. They multiply. While you're trying to protect your tiny piece of the pie, they're out there baking 10 more. You want money to grow, then stop hoarding it. Put it to work. Money is a tool, a soldier. You don't leave your soldiers sitting around in a vault. You send them out into the field to conquer more territory. You invest in your skill set. You invest in assets. You invest in people, platforms, systems. Your money should never sleep. It should grind harder than you do. Every dollar you have should be hunting for more. Stop worshiping job titles. Stop thinking your salary defines your value. Your job is not your identity. It's a temporary transaction between you and someone who figured out how to leverage your time. You want real power, build something that belongs to you. Start something, even if it's small. Own a piece of something. Ownership is everything. When you own, you control. When you own, you decide. That's how the wealthy live. They don't ask for time off. They don't beg for raises. They move money and make money move for them. That's the level you need to reach. Not just working hard, but building leverage so your work creates exponential results. You think success is hard. You know what's harder: regret. Poverty, explaining to your family why you couldn't provide. That's what should scare you, not failure, not rejection, not risk. What should terrify you is staying in the same place year after year. Waking up 10 years from now with nothing to show but a pile of excuses and stories about how you almost made it. That's the nightmare. That's the pain you should run from, because life is short, brutal, and uninterested in your comfort. It rewards those who take control, who step out, who go all in, and that means doing what others won't, waking up earlier, learning faster, executing sharper. It means becoming obsessed. You don't need motivation. You need clarity. Motivation fades. It's emotional. It's temporary. Clarity is power. When you're clear about what you want and why you want it, you move like a machine. You don't get distracted. You don't get lazy. You don't get derailed by nonsense. You stay locked in. You start viewing every second as currency. You guard your time like a lion guards its territory. You stop wasting hours on meaningless activities and start putting every ounce of your energy into moves that multiply. That's how wealth is built, not in one massive leap, but in small, focused, high-value actions done relentlessly. Your phone is your greatest weapon, or your greatest weakness. Most people are addicted to entertainment. They scroll for hours, consume garbage, and waste their most valuable asset, attention. Attention is the currency of this era. Whoever controls attention controls income. You want to be rich. Learn how to get attention the right way. Build a presence, build influence, build credibility, whether it's through content, business, or connections. Become someone who commands attention. That doesn't mean being fake or loud. It means being strategic. Being seen, being remembered. Money doesn't flow to the invisible. It flows to the bold. So stop hiding. Show up like your future depends on it, because it does. If you're not leveraging the internet to make money, you're playing yourself. The game has changed. The gatekeepers are gone. You don't need permission to start a business, launch a brand, or build a following. All you need is a phone, a brain, and consistency. And yet, most people use the most powerful tool in human history to consume trash and complain. They could be learning, building, creating, but they choose distraction. Why? Because it's easy, because it doesn't hurt, but growth hurts. It's supposed to. That pain is the tax you pay for success. Embrace it. Chase it, let it mold you into someone who can't be ignored. Discipline is the foundation. Without it, you'll never rise, not for long. The world is filled with talented people who fell off because they couldn't stay focused. Because they were weak in their habits. You want to dominate, build discipline like it's your religion. Wake up early, train hard, eat clean, study daily, execute without emotion. Consistency will take you where motivation never will. And guess what? When you're disciplined, your self-respect explodes. You walk different, you talk different, because you know you're doing what others won't. And that's where confidence comes from. Not from fake affirmations, but from real effort. Real sacrifice, real results, build multiple streams. One income is a trap. One source is a leash. If that one job, one client, or one stream disappears, you're done. That's not wealth. That's dependency disguised as stability. The rich have backups for their backups. They diversify. They create layers of income, some active, some passive, some scalable. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you buy freedom. So stop putting all your hope into one thing. Build, expand, multiply, even if it starts slow, even if it's messy, just start. Because every empire begins with one brick. Be ruthless with your circle. If your friends don't talk about ideas, money, growth, they're not your friends, they're weights. Cut them off or outgrow them so fast they fall off. Your environment will make or break you. Surround yourself with people who push you, challenge you, inspire you. People who move fast, think big, and live with purpose. Being around winners will either elevate you or expose you, and that's a good thing because exposure forces growth. It forces you to level up or get left behind, and if you're serious about wealth, you can't afford to be the smartest or hardest working person in your group. That's a signal you've plateaued. Find new rooms, find better conversations. This game doesn't reward emotions. It rewards execution. You can cry, complain, break down, but nothing changes until you do. So channel your pain into progress. Use your struggles as fuel. Let your setbacks sharpen your edge. The world isn't fair. It never will be. But that's not an excuse, it's an opportunity. Because once you accept that life is brutal, you stop expecting ease. You stop waiting for things to be right. You just move, you adapt, you dominate. And the moment you start moving with that kind of energy, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not reacting, you're attacking. You're on offense, and money respects aggression when it's strategic. There's no such thing as balance when you're building. Stop chasing comfort. It will come later if you earn it. Right now, your job is to be obsessed. To be so focused, so committed, that you become dangerous. Let people call you crazy. Let them laugh. They won't be laughing when they're still broke and you're flying over them. They won't be laughing when you retire in your 30s. They won't be laughing when you buy your parents a house, so don't chase validation. Chase results, chase impact, chase power, and remember, every second you waste is a second you're giving to someone else's dream instead of your own. Take it back every day, every hour, every breath. You weren't born to struggle. You weren't born to follow. You weren't born to settle. You were born to lead, to conquer, to build, so act like it, talk like it. Move like it. You want wealth, then become someone worthy of wealth, not just in mindset, but in action, in behavior, in identity. Because at the end of the day, money doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your life. And if you're not ready for that change, you'll lose it as fast as you gained it. So build the mindset, build the systems, build the habits, then let the money come, not as a reward, but as a reflection of the man you've become. Everyone talks about freedom, but almost nobody lives it. They wear it on their shirts, scream about it on social media, pretend like they have it. But the truth is, they're enslaved, not by chains, not by some external power, but by their own habits, by their fear, by their weak mindset, and most of all by money, or rather the lack of it. Because when you don't control money, it controls you. It dictates how you wake up, where you go, how long you work, and even when you get to rest. That's not freedom, that's a well-decorated cage, and people convince themselves that it's okay as long as the cage has Wi-Fi and a weekend off. But real freedom, it's savage, it's raw, it demands everything from you. It doesn't come cheap, it doesn't come easy, you have to bleed for it, you have to suffer for it, and the price isn't just hard work, it's transformation. You have to become someone else, the version of you who's always tired, always scrolling, always reacting. That version can't come with you. That version doesn't belong in a free man's life, because freedom is earned through discipline, through pain, through clarity, through war with your own mediocrity. That's the battle you're avoiding. That's why you're stuck. If you don't build the life you want, someone will hire you to build theirs. That's the deal. You either become the architect of your future or a laborer in someone else's empire. And if that doesn't make you angry, you're already lost. You should be furious. Furious at yourself for wasting time, furious at the system for numbing you, furious at your own excuses, because every excuse is a brick in the wall keeping you poor. Every excuse is a leash wrapped tighter around your neck. I'm too tired. I don't know how. I'll start tomorrow. That's loser talk. That's the language of slaves. Winners don't say that. Winners don't even think like that. They move now, they act now, they fix the plane while it's in the air. People talk about risk like it's something to be avoided. That's weak. The truth is, staying broke is the biggest risk of all. Living your entire life under someone else's control, that's terrifying. Imagine being 60, looking back and realizing you played it safe for nothing. No wealth, no legacy, no freedom, just a pile of bills and a body worn out from trading time for pennies. That's not a life. That's a slow, forgettable death, and you'll only escape it by embracing risk. Calculated risk, intelligent aggression, strategic violence toward your old patterns. That's how you shatter the ceiling. That's how you break free. Money is not just paper. It's not just numbers. It's a weapon, a shield, a passport. It's the power to say no, no to toxic jobs, no to manipulative people, no to mediocrity. When you have money, you have options. When you don't, you're forced to accept whatever life throws at you. And if you want options, you need to stop playing defense and start going on the offensive. Attack the market, attack your weaknesses, attack your day with purpose, because while you're hesitating, someone else is executing. While you're overthinking, someone else is collecting. The world rewards execution, not ideas. The average man is soft. He avoids pain. He runs from pressure. But the truth is, pain is the forge. Pressure is the training ground. Diamonds are made under pressure, not in comfort. You think the rich got there by relaxing. They suffered, they went through hell, but they used it. They weaponized it. Every failure, every loss, every betrayal. It made them colder, sharper, more lethal. And if you want what they have, you better be ready to bleed. You better be ready to get punched in the mouth and keep moving. Because success doesn't come to the guy who hits the hardest. It comes to the guy who gets hit and still refuses to quit. You need to kill your distractions. Every hour you spend on useless apps, on gossip, on mindless entertainment. That's money slipping through your fingers. That's time you'll never get back. Your attention is being harvested and you're giving it away like it's worthless. But attention is currency, and the richest people in the world are the ones who know how to direct it, shape it, monetize it. So if you can't control your focus, you'll never control your finances. Lock in. Cut the noise, build in silence. Let the results make the noise later. Because if people aren't laughing at your grind, you're not going hard enough. If you're not learning, you're losing. The game is changing every second. And the man who stops evolving dies, not physically, but mentally, financially, spiritually. So stay sharp, stay curious, read the books, watch the mentors, join the rooms, buy the course, do whatever it takes to get better. Because every skill you acquire is another bullet in your clip, another weapon in your arsenal. You can't fight in this war with outdated tools. You need speed, precision, intelligence, because the marketplace doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care that you tried your best. It only cares about value. Can you solve problems? Can you create solutions? If not, step aside. You're not ready. Most of your beliefs about money are trash. They were installed in you by people who were never rich, teachers who never built anything, parents who were stuck in survival mode, friends who never left the gutter. So you carry their fears, their limitations, their chains, and wonder why you're still stuck. Break the code, unlearn the nonsense. Money is abundant. It flows like water, but you're trying to catch it with a cracked bucket. Fix the bucket. Fix your mindset. Stop thinking small. Start moving like money wants you. Like it's looking for you, because it is. But only if you're the kind of person who can hold it, grow it, protect it. No one is coming to give you a better life. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And until you take full ownership of everything, the wins, the losses, the mess, you'll stay in the same cycle. Ownership is power. Victimhood is weakness. If the world owes you something, you've already lost. But if you owe yourself everything, now you're dangerous. Now you have control, and that's when things start to shift. That's when you start moving with intent. That's when you stop waiting for a miracle and become one. Your energy is your brand. Walk into a room and people should feel it. Speak and people should lean in. Your presence should demand respect. And that doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from alignment. From being so locked into your purpose, so convicted in your mission, that people can't ignore you. Build that energy through discipline, through results, through integrity, and then use it, because energy moves money. It attracts deals, it creates opportunities. You don't need a degree, you need a presence, you need a fire. You need to become unforgettable, build systems, not stress. Most people stay broke because they trade time for money. That's a trap. There's a ceiling on your time, but there's no ceiling on a system, on a product, on an investment. Your goal should be to build machines that make money while you sleep. That requires work. Strategy, structure, but once it's built, the game changes. Now you're free, now you're playing offense. Now you have time to think, to plan, to dominate. So stop wasting energy on things that don't scale. Build systems, build freedom, build wealth that doesn't require your presence 24/7. You need to get obsessed with impact. Money is a byproduct of value. The more problems you solve, the more people you serve, the more money you make. So don't chase the bag, chase excellence, chase mastery, become the best at something, stand out, be so good they can't ignore you. That's the secret. Average doesn't get paid, average gets replaced. The top 1% aren't lucky, they're just relentless. They chose to dominate when others settled, and now they live like kings while others survive like peasants. Get uncomfortable with comfort. That's where dreams go to die. Comfort will kill you slowly and politely. It'll give you just enough pleasure to forget your purpose, just enough peace to ignore your potential. But real growth starts where comfort ends, when your hands are shaking, when your heart is pounding. When you're scared but moving anyway, that's where the magic happens. That's where men are made. So chase that discomfort, hunt it, lean into it, because every time you do, you're expanding, you're upgrading. You're stepping closer to the version of you that deserves wealth, respect, and legacy. The time is now, not tomorrow, not next year, not when it's convenient, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Momentum is everything. Start sloppy, start small, just start. Perfection is a myth created by procrastinators. Winners build while others talk. They execute while others daydream. They launch before they're ready. That's how empires are built. Not in theory, but in action. So kill the hesitation, burn the backup plan, go all in, and keep going. Because if you want the life no one else has, you have to do what no one else will. You're not meant to be average, you know that. Deep down, you've always known. That fire you feel, that hunger, that voice in your head saying you're meant for more, listen to it, feed it, let it consume you. Because that's the real you, the one buried under years of doubt, fear, and fake limitations. Set him free, unleash him, and watch what happens when a man decides he will not be denied, not by circumstance, not by failure, not by the world, because a man like that, he doesn't chase success, he becomes it. So here it is, raw, unfiltered, undeniable. You either rise or you rot. There is no middle ground. You either dominate money or you are dominated by it. You either bend the world to your will or you are bent by it. This life, your life, is a one-time offer. No rewinds, no second drafts. And if you waste it in comfort, fear, excuses, and mediocrity, then you've betrayed yourself. You've betrayed the warrior inside you that was built to conquer. So wake up, lock in, burn the old version of yourself to the ground, and rise as the one who takes what's his. Because the world doesn't care what you want. It only gives you what you demand.